Hey there, everybody. This is Cholera, and bringing you Game 5 of this little pre-Pro League season here. This is Bisu versus Zero. And certainly, we're going to see what happens. Should be an interesting game here. I'm very curious to see how Zero is going to deal with a Protoss here, who obviously is top of the line here. Bisu, we're going to see how manly he is in this game. Usually, though, the best Protoss around against Zergs. And Zero, I feel, has been kind of slighted by the fortunes of fate, basically, in the last season. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's actually got a 55% win rate against Protoss. It's pretty good. But he's been just put up against Zergs constantly, and he's evidently not very good in Zerg versus Zerg. I think he was defeated by Quanro to get eliminated from both the World Cyber Games and the OSL, which you know is pretty darn sad. And then in the MSL, the last MSL, the Avalon MSL, he was knocked out by, I'm sorry, in the Bakos OSL, he was knocked out by Jaedong. So that's where he made it the furthest, getting to the round of 8 there. And look at this, Bisu actually going for Pylon first inside of his base. He's going to go for Gateway first, rather, is what I meant. And this is going to be interesting. I think it's not a horrible build on this map, Outsider, because he is going to be able to pick up a back expansion with just minerals if needed, although he could certainly expand using probe tricking to perhaps some places with gas. In any case, though, he can also block his front door with Zealots on the ramp, of course. So that's not going to hurt him very much economically in general. And here is a spawning pool first for Zero. It is an overpool. Oh, wow. And there's a Team Liquid sign in English. B-suit build, nice. It's not going to be a B-suit build, though, this game. It's actually going to be something more manly than the standard girly B, as you can see there. There's one gateway going down, a second gateway going down. What is going on? Someone has been drinking some Mantos juice here. That is right. Mantos has actually... has actually made his own line of drinks, which contain 1 drop of his sweat in each one of them, and it's known to have similar effects to anabolic steroids. And he's also been possibly eating Mantos rather, Reach's new brand of mince. And we're going to see if this is going to work out for Bisu, who's usually, you know, the master of the woman builds. Look at this. Wow, Bisu doing a great job with his probe dancing. Man, I got to say, this is an interesting play from Bisu. I'm serious. Like, he never does 2 gates. Very rarely does he do 2 gates because he is very good with his fast expand builds. And unfortunately for him, Zero is going to scout this. Let's see what Zero does. Oh, man. It was so manly, a fan just fell over in my room. Like, that's how manly this build was. Not because Bisu's doing it, but because it is just a manly build in general. A no-gas build, 2-gate. And unfortunately for him, it's been spotted. So it's not gonna be that much of a surprise to Zero. And Zero also, of course, has a spawning pool first. Now, the problem is, though, he's going to also be constrained in his economy for quite a while, because he's going to have to get more and more lings instead of drones. Still, though, if he holds off this rush, he will be in the lead in terms of economics and potentially in terms of tech, depending on how well he wins, whether he wins or not. Let's see how good the Zealot micro is from Bisu. Are they man lots or are they backhoe lots? Are they hoe lots? We're going to have to see. It's always the question. There's Bisu with no gas yet. Man, that is pretty interesting a build there from Bisu, who usually never does this. A third hatchery going up there for Zero, and it's actually going to be a 2-gate into expansion build. Wow, this is a interesting build here. Did not expect that. I mean, you can do this if you get a forge next, I believe. That is generally how this build works. You actually do need cannons afterward. Because you need to prevent against run-bys and the fact that you have much slower tech than the Zerg player. You really do have to get cannons pretty much everywhere. On the other hand, you know, you do have a powerful force of Zealots at any given time that could wreck the Zerg player if the Zerg isn't careful. Still, though, I feel like Zero is ahead at this point. He's really not been harmed at all by that early Zealot build, mainly because he decided not to go for a 12-hatch. 12-hatch would have hurt him. Oh, look at this. Zero is going to set a trap here. He has the intelligence he needs. I don't think that... oh, no. He's actually going to do a sneak-in, it looks like. He does not have speed, and he won't have it for a while, of course. But Zealots are at least not there for him. So there's 2 Zealots on the ramp. Is he going to get anything through? He does get a good number of lings surrounding the Zealots on the ramp. He's going to get all those lings through. There's about 6 lings through, and that is going to be really annoying for Bisu. Let's see how good Zero's multitasking is, how good his micro is. It's going to come down to that, how well he can use this APM and still, of course, manage to build things in his base. Very important, of course. Most non-professionals can only do one thing at a time. Like, I would have about like 400 minerals right now saved up if I were trying to control the lings as well as he is. But of course, the pros can usually do better than that. Still, some are better than others. Anyway, the point is, look at this. These lings are going to stay alive for a while. Assuming he micros them well, he got 2 probes already, although actually looks like they were pretty badly injured, so only 3 lings remain here after picking up 2 probes. It doesn't look like Bisu has gone for a forge, actually. He's just gone for a cybernetics core, so he's not doing what I was thinking. I guess it's because Zero did go for that 3rd hatchery, so his tech isn't as fast as it could have been. And look at this. I mean, I do think Zero's in the lead. Zero's already at lair. Bisu is probably going to have to go for... I guess he's going to go for Corsairs, although, yeah, he is going to get Stargate. I was saying the other possibility is just to go straight for Zealot speed. Now, it doesn't really matter that these lings are here anymore. The more important thing, I guess, is just that they're providing scouting information. Bisu's not going to get any scouting information. I don't think Bisu, in fact, knows that it was a 3-hatchery build, although he doesn't know for sure, but perhaps I think he should know because of the fact that there was a slow gas. Zero's having problems with his multitasking, too, by the way. I've seen that a couple times that he's had idle drones, probably due to his just attention on his lings, and that is obviously not going to win the game against someone who's as good as Bisu is in multitasking. But the problem is, the question is Bisu good with his build? I mean, he's so good with Forge Fast Expand builds because he basically just revolutionized them. He invented them himself, and I'm sure he practices this kind of build too. But this is an interesting situation. It's not a situation you generally see in PvZ. And he's got a wall of Zealots here. I would say a man wall, except we're not sure how manly this one is. Is he going to be able to hold and stay in perfect formation is the question, and not get baited. Looks like a Corsair is going to come out. I think actually the game is pretty much evened up at this point. No real advantage to either player, I would say. And Zero's going to have, most likely, some Mutalisks coming out. We did see a 2nd gas, by the way. So it's either Mutalisks or Lurkers or something. I'm going to guess, well, actually, it could be Lurkers. Oh, yeah, it is going to be Lurkers. So Lurkers to deal with the Zealots. I think that's a smart move also. Unfortunately for him, he's been scouted now by Bisu, who snuck a probe all the way through to get that scout. Bisu loves to get that scouting information. I mean, notice, even though he had a Corsair on the way, he still wanted to send a probe in. I think that's a smart move for him, just because he constantly wants to know and he wants to react. But look at this. He cannot possibly react against these Speedlings, which are just so hard to deal with if you don't have cannons and you have slow Zealots. They've already picked off another 2 or 3 probes. Not, game-changing damage, but it can become that if he doesn't, get a cannon up. He has a Forge. I'm not sure why he's just going so cheap on the cannons. I think 1 cannon in his main is highly justified at this point. Even though there are no Mutalisks coming, it's very justified just to deal with these kind of incursions. And because eventually there might be some Mutalisks coming. Looks like we got some Corsairs flying over Zero's base. And this could be pretty successful if there were Mutalisks. This would be successful. There's actually a Hydralisk Lurker build, or perhaps just a mass Hydra build. I do think Lurkers are going to come pretty soon, though. Although they're probably going to be combined with lots of low-level Hydralisks also because of the 5 hatcheries that are being finished right now. Still, I do feel like there's going to be Lurkers out. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten that 2nd gas during the building of the lair. He would have gotten the hatcheries